Over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to go over exactly how I built a software from scratch that listens to the entire internet and tells me whenever someone on Reddit or Hacking News is talking about a topic of my choosing. So if I want to know if anyone is talking about X topic, I'll be sent a notification whenever anyone is. And it's really useful for lead generation. And that's mainly the reason why I'm doing it. And so I'm going to go over how I built it without writing a single line of code. And that's because right now is an unprecedented time where anyone with any level of dedication and determination can build anything and go from zero to technical in about 3 months. I'm going to go over how I did it now. So let's get right into it. I'm speedrunning this software, so I'm going to use a free open source starter kit from Next.js. They provide all the initial setup. That'll take me about 5 hours to do manually, which I'm not going to waste any time on. So this is the tech stack. It's going to be Supabase for authentication, which is sign in, sign out, and Supabase for our database. I'm going to use Stripe for subscriptions and payment management. And lastly, I'm using the Next.js framework to write the application. And it's all been set up by the starter kit. If you've never built a project before, like built an app, I strongly recommend to not use the boilerplate, as you're going to break your keyboard basically, because AI will have no idea what it's doing. It's going to be way too confusing. Just build it from scratch once, understand all the pieces fit together, and you'll have a much easier time. So step one, I actually spent about an hour or an hour and a half doing this part. It's going to be your foundation, and it's creating these three documents: the cursor rules file, the plan file, and the summary file. These three together will help you basically throughout the entire project. They all have a different purpose. So firstly, the cursor rules file is going to be the system prompt for every new chat. And it's literally a high-level objective and summary of what you're going to get done in the project. And some context on the tech stack. Maybe 100 lines, not that long, maybe a paragraph or two. Secondly, the plan file. This is basically going to be the features of the app and what things you're going to build. And you can have the API endpoints here. You can have the functions you're going to write. You don't have to go super granular, but some specificity on what the features are actually going to have is going to be really useful. And lastly, the most important one is the summary file. This is where you're going to have the actual checklist of things that you're going to build, and you're going to continuously update after every feature so that it adds real-time context to whatever the AI is doing. And now whenever you create a new chat, the cursor rules file is automatically added, and you add the plan file and add the summary file. And you do whatever you need to do. And then at the end of the chat, you concisely update the summary file with what you did, and then you move on to the next chat. This workflow will allow you to build any type of software, no matter how large it is, and retain context to actually build your feature while also retaining understanding of the entire code base. I strongly suggest you try it. I've now finished my text files, and I'm going to do exactly what I just talked about. I'm going to speak it out, since dictating is much faster than typing. Currently working on implementing our plan.
Moments later.
Complete this step in its entirety for our MVP.
More moments later.
With one single prompt, I've completed the majority of the entire front end for the listeners, so I can listen to Reddit and Hacker News. I haven't done the back end yet, but the functionality of what the user will see, that's almost done, and what comes now is the debugging. Basically check what works, what doesn't work. And once I know it works, I basically update the summary file with what I've done in the implementation, and I move on to the next step, and we rinse and repeat. And with this way, you can build software very, very fast. Since we're building a keyword radar, the next step was to build the back-end logic to get the listeners to monitor Reddit and Hacker News to detect when the chosen keyword is mentioned. It was pretty simple using their APIs. Hacker News has a public API in Reddit. You just have to sign in and make a web app with a developer account. And then once that was done, I connected them to GitHub Actions to run a cron job every half hour, and figured that was the simplest way and cheapest way to get it done. You get 2,000 free minutes every month with GitHub Action. And once that was done, I did the internal dashboard just so as to make it easy to use and intuitive. And then I created a simple landing page. I added some nice components from 21st Dev, actually, which is a component library that has a lot of nice things you can copy. It's actually one of my favorite websites, one of the best websites. Some would say the best website anyone has ever seen. So overall, software was done. It took about 5.5 hours, and I did it for $0, and I can now use it for lead gen, and anyone can use it for lead gen. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.